My name is Joe Seeley, and I've been awarded an award for puppet design for Wicked Lit. It's a show that happens up with Wicked Lit, through Wicked Lit, at the Mausoleum in Altadena. And I build puppets for two different shows. I grew up in Ventura, California. My father used to call it Bakersfield by the Sea. I used to describe it as a cultural desert. But there was support for the arts. And, you know, everybody wanted an origin story. Back before the internet, kids, there were libraries, and these are my library cards. I discovered a book when I was a boy by a guy named Hans-Jürgen Fettig. He's a puppet designer from Germany. I couldn't read, but I loved the pictures. And I kept checking it out until I could read it. So the support for the arts where I came from was largely through libraries. My father wanted me to be a ballet dancer at 12, but I didn't want to get beaten up. And I hated my mean sister at the time, who kind of owned the studio back in the day. So there was support for the arts, but not in the direction that I was headed. I'm a multi-hyphenate. I'm an actor and a designer and a puppet builder. I love theater. It's in my blood. It courses through me. I can't get away from it. I sometimes describe it as a disease. It's a thing that you have to do, that you are compelled to do if it's open to you. I've met people along the way that I describe as signposts. There was an old guy named Bill McCormick who worked with a group. I worked with Zoo District Theater for a long time. We were kind of a big deal back in the early downtown theater days. And Bill McCormick was an old man of Irish descent with a gleam in his eye who loved life more fully than anybody I'd ever seen. Would giggle and flirt and play with people 30 years his junior, and had a sort of joy and catharsis that just rang through him. He did not back down. He's gone. I've lost track of him. I'm assuming he's moved on, past. And I think about the courage and the verve that he approached situations that were way over his head in terms of experience. And he inspires me. Ian McKellen, of course, inspires me. Hans-Jürgen Fettig, a brilliant puppeteer, inspires me. Trash on the road. All of it, really. Kids working. I find inspiration all over the place. It's funny, but early on, I had some success as an actor and a lot of success in film. And one of the things I learned was don't expect the money and the acclaim to always be there. Sadly, I've had to learn the truth of that lesson, but the great benefit that having that in the forefront of my mind when times were hard was that I don't need much. So basically, I've pared down my life so that I don't really need a lot to survive. I've simplified things. And as such, I've trained myself to take joy in simple pleasures like the sunset, an orange tree full of ripe oranges. There are beauties everywhere, and you don't need money to be happy. It helps, and being broke sucks, but if you've got just enough, you can find joy in places most people don't bother to look.